your mind, every word a step forward. Let the learning begin. Let the learning begin. Boost your English. Boost your English. B-Y-E. B-Y-E. Welcome to the workshop.
BYE Workshop, Episode 10. Welcome to the 10th session of the BYE Workshop. I am Ryan. If you are looking for comfort or entertainment, you are in the wrong place. This is not a conversation. It is a clinical extraction of linguistic data. We are here to dismantle the English language and replace ambiguity with surgical precision. In this workshop, we do not suggest. We instruct. Your progress depends entirely on your ability to process these facts with absolute focus. Listen closely. There will be no repetitions. Idiomatic structures and specific determiners. Whosoever, definition, an archaic or formal variant of whoever meaning any person at all who performs an action. Example, whosoever enters the restricted area without authorization will trigger the alarm system. One another, definition, used to indicate that two or more people carry out a reciprocal action. Example, the team members must support one another during this intensive phase of the project. Each other, definition, used to express a mutual action or relationship between two people or things. Example, the two distinct systems communicate with each other via a secure data link. A certain, definition, used to refer to a specific person or thing that is not named or described further. Example, a certain degree of patience is required when executing these complex protocols. The former, definition, used to denote the first of two things or people mentioned previously. Example, the manager discussed the software update and the hardware upgrade but decided to prioritize the former. The latter, definition, used to denote the second of two things or people mentioned previously. Example, between systematic training and rapid adaptation the supervisor strongly recommended the latter. One by one, definition, used to describe actions performed individually and in a sequential order. Example, the operator examined the components one by one to ensure quality control. First and foremost, definition, used to highlight the most important factor or primary consideration in a situation. Example, first and foremost we must guarantee the absolute integrity of our data transmission. By means of, definition, used to specify the method or tool used to achieve a particular result. Example, the technician calibrated the equipment by means of a specialized digital interface. In view of, definition, used to introduce a relevant fact that explains the reason for a subsequent decision. Example, in view of recent technical developments the board revised the operational guidelines. With a view to, definition, used to state the specific purpose or objective behind a planned course of action. Example, the engineers restructured the database with a view to maximizing system efficiency. So to speak, definition, used to indicate that a description is metaphorical rather than literal. Example, the new processor acts as the central brain of the entire network, so to speak. In accordance with, definition, used to show that an action conforms to established rules or instructions. Example, the technicians performed the maintenance procedure in accordance with standard safety protocols. By virtue of, definition, used to explain that something occurs as a direct result of a specific authority or quality. Example, the senior officer made the final decision by virtue of his position within the organization. In the light of, definition, used to explain that a decision or conclusion is based on new information or evidence. Example, the research team modified their original hypothesis in the light of recent experimental data. Measurement and spatial expressions. Far and wide, definition, across a large area or in many distant places. Example, the investigators searched far and wide to locate the precise source of the structural failure. Lengthwise, definition, in a direction parallel to the longest side of an object. Example, the technician sliced the polymer material lengthwise to examine the internal fibers under a microscope. Broadly speaking, definition, considering a subject in a general sense without focusing on minor details. Example, broadly speaking the system operates within normal parameters despite occasional spikes in temperature. Tall order, definition, a task or request that is highly difficult or demanding to achieve. Example, completing the entire network integration within 48 hours proved to be a tall order for the engineering crew. By a long chalk, definition, by a significant amount or by far. Example, this updated database engine is faster than the previous version by a long chalk. At length, definition, after a considerable period of time or in great detail. Example, the supervisor discussed the security protocols at length during the briefing. Short notice, definition, a warning or information given only a brief time before an event must occur. Example, the technical support team managed to resolve the server issue on extremely short notice. In the long run, definition, over a long period of time or in the final outcome. Example, implementing regular system maintenance saves the company considerable financial resources in the long run. Main force, definition, sheer physical strength or primary momentum. Example, the workers moved the heavy machinery by main force when the hydraulic lift failed. Full blast, definition, operating at maximum power or capacity. Example, the cooling fans were running at full blast to prevent the mainframe from overheating. Short of, definition, lacking a sufficient amount of something or failing to reach a specific point. Example, the experimental results fell short of the strict requirement set by the research laboratory. Long-standing, definition, having existed or continued for a substantial duration of time. Example, the two development groups resolved their long-standing disagreement regarding software architecture. Weather conditions and atmospheric phenomena. Downpour, definition, a heavy and sudden fall of rain. Example, the sudden downpour flooded the drainage system within minutes. Heatwave, definition, a prolonged period of abnormally hot weather. Example, the server room required extra cooling units to survive the summer heatwave. Snowdrift, definition, a bank of deep snow piled up by the wind. Example, the delivery trucks could not pass the mountain road due to a massive snowdrift. Gale, definition, a very strong wind capable of causing moderate damage. Example, the coastal radar station reported a gale moving towards the harbor. Hurricane, definition, a severe tropical storm with extremely high wind speeds. Example, the local authorities ordered an immediate evacuation before the hurricane made landfall. Flash flood, definition, a sudden local flooding caused by temporary heavy rain. Example, the local river burst its banks and caused a flash flood in the valley. Black ice, definition, a transparent coating of ice on a roadway that is extremely difficult to see. Example, several delivery vehicles skidded off the highway due to undetected black ice. Mudslide, definition, a rapid mass of mud moving down a hillside. Example, heavy rainfall saturated the soil and triggered a destructive mudslide. Snow density, definition, the mass of snow per unit of volume which determines its weight. Example, engineers calculated the snow density to ensure the roof could support the winter load. Hailstone, definition, a pellet of frozen rain that falls in showers from cumulonimbus clouds. Example, a severe storm produced a hailstone large enough to crack the windscreen of the patrol car. Tornado, definition, a violently rotating column of air extending from a thunderstorm to the ground. Example, the tornado destroyed the power lines and left the entire district without electricity. Blizzard, definition, a severe snowstorm with high winds and very low visibility. Example, the technical crew postponed the outdoor repairs because of the approaching blizzard. Physical states and descriptive attributes. Bone dry, definition, completely lacking moisture or wetness. Example, the desert wind left the soil bone dry within a few hours. Soggy, definition, heavy and saturated with water or moisture. Example, the continuous rain made the ground soggy and difficult to walk on. Moldy, definition, covered with a fungal growth due to dampness or age. Example, the inspector discarded the old documents because they had become moldy in the basement. Pure, definition, free from any contamination or foreign substances. Example, the laboratory requires pure water to perform the chemical analysis. Liquid, definition, a substance that flows freely but has a constant volume. Example, nitrogen becomes a liquid when cooled to extremely low temperatures. Solid, definition, firm and stable in shape rather than liquid or fluid. Example, the water turned into solid ice after a night of freezing temperatures. Gaseous, definition, existing in the state of a gas rather than a liquid or solid. Example, the volcanic eruption released massive amounts of gaseous sulfur into the atmosphere. Soft, definition, easy to mold or compress and not hard or firm to the touch. Example, the technician used a soft cloth to clean the delicate optical lens. Hard, definition, solid and firm and resistant to pressure or scratching. Example, diamond is a hard material that can cut through industrial glass. Fresh, definition, newly made or harvested and not stale or spoiled. Example, the supply team brought fresh provisions to the research station. Lukewarm, definition, only moderately warm and lacking distinct heat. Example, the technician rinsed the components with lukewarm water to avoid thermal shock. Hot, definition, having a high temperature that is noticeable or uncomfortable. Example, the engine block becomes hot after several hours of continuous operation. Scalding, definition, hot enough to cause severe burns or injury. Example, the pipe burst and released a stream of scalding steam into the room. Icy, definition, extremely cold or covered with ice. Example, a blast of icy wind forced the workers to seek shelter indoors. Supple, definition, bending and moving easily without breaking or tearing. Example, leather becomes more supple after proper chemical treatment. Stiff, definition, rigid and difficult to bend or move. Example, the cold weather made the rubber joint stiff and prone to cracking. Flexible, definition, capable of bending easily without breaking. Example, the electrical cable is flexible enough to fit into tight spaces. Rigid, definition, stiff and unyielding and not able to be bent. Example, the structure is supported by rigid steel beams to withstand earthquakes. Opaque, definition, not able to be seen through and preventing the passage of light. Example, the security windows are made of opaque material to protect privacy. Transparent, definition, allowing light to pass through completely so that objects behind can be distinctly seen. Example, the protective shield is transparent to allow clear visibility during the experiment. Translucent, definition, allowing light to pass through diffusely so that objects behind cannot be clearly seen. Example, the bathroom window uses translucent glass to let light in while blocking the view. Clear, definition, transparent and unclouded or easy to see through. Example, the clear water allow the divers to see the bottom of the lake. Dark, definition, with little or no light or deep in shade. Example, the dark basement required artificial illumination before the inspection could begin. Vaporous, definition, consisting of or resembling vapor or mist. Example, a vaporous cloud rose from the cooling tower as the system deactivated. Heady, definition, having a strong or intoxicating effect. Example, the chemical plant emitted a heady aroma of organic solvents during processing. Sour, definition, having an acid taste like lemon or vinegar. Example, the fermentation process turns the liquid sour if left unchecked. Bitter, definition, having a sharp and pungent taste that is often unpleasant. Example, the medicine had a bitter taste that required a coating to swallow. Sticky, definition, tending to adhere or cling to any surface on contact. Example, the leaking hydraulic fluid left a sticky residue on the floor. Rough, definition, having an uneven or coarse surface that is not smooth. Example, the rough texture of the wall provides excellent grip for the coating. Smooth, definition, having an even and regular surface without projections or roughness. Example, the polished metal plate felt smooth to the touch. Coarse, definition, rough or harsh in texture and consisting of large particles. Example, the builders used coarse sand to mix the heavy concrete foundation. Granular, definition, consisting of small grains or particles. Example, the fertilizer is distributed in a granular form to dissolve slowly. Firm, definition, strongly felt and resistant to pressure but not completely hard. Example, the mattress offers firm support for the patient. Creamy, definition, smooth and thick in texture like cream. Example, the lubricant has a creamy consistency that spreads evenly over the gears. Greasy, definition, covered with or resembling oil or fat. Example, the mechanic washed his greasy hands after fixing the truck engine. Heavy, definition, of great weight or difficult to lift or move. Example, the crate was too heavy for a single worker to carry safely. Light, definition, of little weight and easy to lift or move. Example, titanium is a light metal that offers high structural strength. Slippery, definition, difficult to hold or stand on because of a smooth or wet surface. Example, the wet tiles became slippery after the cleaning crew finished their work. Steep, definition, rising or falling sharply and almost perpendicular. Example, the truck struggled to climb the steep hill with a full load. Flat, definition, having a level and even surface without slopes or bumps. Example, the crew selected a flat piece of land to construct the temporary shelter. Rugged, definition, having a broken and rocky and uneven surface. Example, the vehicle was designed to traverse rugged terrain without sustaining damage. Craggy, definition, steep and rugged with many rough rocks. Example, the mountain pass featured craggy cliffs that made drone surveillance difficult. Tilted, definition, leaning or sloping to one side rather than vertical or horizontal. Example, the earthquake left the storage rack tilted at a dangerous angle. Wavy, definition, moving or shaped in smooth curves or ripples. Example, the metal sheet has a wavy pattern to increase its structural rigidity. Vast, definition, of very great extent or quantity and immense. Example, the company stores its digital archives across a vast network of servers. Narrowed, definition, became narrower or less spacious in a specific section. Example, the passage narrowed significantly near the exit of the bunker. Deep, definition, extending far down from the top or surface. Example, the technicians drilled a deep well to extract water samples. Silent, definition, completely quiet without any sound or noise. Example, the server room became silent after the power failure shut down the fans. Noisy, definition, making or given to making a lot of loud or unpleasant noise. Example, the old ventilation unit was too noisy to be kept in the office. Soundproof, definition, designed to prevent sound from entering or leaving. Example, the recording studio is completely soundproof to ensure high audio quality. Fireproof, definition, resistant to destruction by fire or high heat. Example, the documents are stored in a fireproof safe inside the main office. Waterproof, definition, impervious to water or preventing water from entering. Example, the technician wore a waterproof jacket during the storm. Airtight, definition, sealed so that no air can enter or escape. Example, the specimen was kept in an airtight container to prevent contamination. Tight, definition, fixed or fastened firmly in position and difficult to move. Example, make sure the bolts are tight before starting the machine. Loose, definition, not firmly or tightly fixed in place and able to move. Example, a loose connection caused the intermittent signal failure in the receiver. Fatty, definition, containing a large amount of fat or oil. Example, the laboratory analyzed the fatty tissue for traces of toxic chemicals. Sweet, definition, having the pleasant taste of sugar. Example, the chemical compound left a sweet aftertaste during the oral test. Salty, definition, containing or tasting of salt. Example, the coastal air has a salty quality that accelerates rust on vehicles. Amber, definition, honey yellow or brownish yellow in color. Example, the indicator light turned amber to signal a minor system warning. Corrosive, definition, tending to cause slow damage or destruction by chemical action. Example, acidic fumes can be highly corrosive to exposed copper wiring. Abrasive, definition, capable of polishing or cleaning a hard surface by rubbing or grinding. Example, the worker used an abrasive pad to remove rust from the pipe. Astringent, definition, causing the contraction of body tissues or checking fluid secretions. Example, the chemical solution has an astringent effect when applied to the skin. Murky, definition, dark and dirty and difficult to see through. Example, the water in the river became murky after the heavy downpour. Linear, definition, arranged in or extending along a straight line. Example, the graph shows a linear relationship between temperature and pressure. Curved, definition, deviating from a straight line in a smooth and continuous way. Example, the highway follows a curved path around the mountain base. Zigzag, definition, a line or course having sharp alternating turns. Example, the vehicle took a zigzag path to avoid the obstacles on the road. Direct, definition, proceeding in a straight line without DT or interruption. Example, the train provides a direct connection between the two major cities. Ambivalent, definition, having mixed feelings or contradictory ideas about something. Example, the committee remained ambivalent about adopting the new software format. Ambidextrous, definition, able to use the right and left hands equally well. Example, the surgeon is ambidextrous, which allows him to work efficiently from any angle. Balanced, definition, keeping or showing an even distribution of weight or forces. Example, the wheels must be perfectly balanced to prevent vibration at high speeds. Static, definition, lacking movement or action and remaining in one position. Example, the pressure remained static despite the increase in temperature. Oscillating, definition, moving or swinging back and forth at a regular speed. Example, the oscillating fan distributed cool air across the entire workspace. Calm, definition, peaceful and quiet and free from agitation or excitement. Example, the supervisor maintained a calm demeanor during the system crisis. Aggressive, definition, ready or likely to attack or confront or act with force. Example, the company launched an aggressive marketing campaign to win new clients. Compassionate, definition, feeling or showing sympathy and concern for others. Example, the medical staff provided compassionate care to the injured workers. Unfriendly, definition, not kind or helpful or welcoming to others. Example, the local population was unfriendly towards the security personnel. Friendly, definition, kind and pleasant and supportive toward others. Example, the new team member received a friendly welcome from the staff. Selfish, definition, lacking consideration for other people and concerned chiefly with personal profit. Example, the selfish attitude can quickly destroy collaboration within a research team. Egocentric, definition, thinking only of oneself and without regard for the feelings of others. Example, his egocentric behavior made it difficult to conduct group discussions. Altruistic, definition, showing a disinterested and selfless concern for the well-being of others. Example, the scientist made an altruistic decision to share his patent for free. Erudite, definition, having or showing great knowledge or learning. Example, the professor delivered an erudite lecture on historical linguistic changes. Ignorant, definition, lacking knowledge or awareness in general or in a specific area. Example, the operator was completely ignorant of the new safety regulations. Indifferent, definition, having no particular interest or sympathy and unconcerned. Example, the management seemed indifferent to the complaints of the office staff. Concerned, definition, worried or anxious or showing interest in a situation. Example, the safety officer was highly concerned about the lack of protective gear. Exuberant, definition, filled with or characterized by a lively energy and excitement. Example, the team shared an exuberant celebration after winning the contract. Reserved, definition, slow to reveal emotion or opinions and keeping to oneself. Example, the new supervisor is quite reserved and rarely joins social conversations. Friendly, definition, behaving in a kind and pleasant way toward acquaintances or strangers. Example, the receptionist offered a friendly greeting to the visitors. Distant, definition, aloof or cold and showing a lack of friendliness or intimacy. Example, the manager became distant after the project failed to meet expectations. Cold, definition, lacking affection or warmth of feeling and unemotional. Example, the supervisor gave a cold response to the request for leave. Warm, definition, displaying affection or enthusiasm or cordiality. Example, the host extended a warm welcome to the international delegation. Predictable, definition, behaving or occurring in a way that is anticipated or expected. Example, the failure of the old generator was entirely predictable. Incomprehensible, definition, not able to be understood or explained. Example, the corrupted file format rendered the data completely incomprehensible. Unexpected, definition, not expected or anticipated and coming as a surprise. Example, the power grid experienced an unexpected surge during the maintenance cycle. Undesirable, definition, not wanted or welcome and likely to cause trouble. Example, high humidity is an undesirable condition for storing electronic components. Recommended, definition, advised or suggested as a good or suitable choice. Example, wearing safety goggles is strongly recommended inside the workshop area. Dilettante, definition, engaging in an activity without serious intent or deep knowledge. Example, his dilettante approach to programming led to numerous errors in the code. Nonchalant, definition, feeling or appearing casually calm and relaxed. Example, the pilot remained nonchalant during the minor turbulence. Vigorous, definition, strong and healthy and full of energy or force. Example, the laboratory conducted a vigorous test of the new alloy structure. Enthusiastic, definition, having or showing intense enjoyment or interest. Example, the students were enthusiastic about participating in the robotics competition. Disinterested, definition, not influenced by considerations of personal advantage or bias. Example, a disinterested third party was chosen to settle the contractual dispute. Hypocritical, definition, behaving in a way that suggests one has higher standards than is the case. Example, it would be hypocritical to demand perfection while ignoring basic rules. Frank, definition, open and honest and direct in speech or writing. Example, the inspector gave a frank assessment of the structural damage. Hypochondriac, definition, abnormally anxious about one's health and imagining illnesses. Example, the hypochondriac employee requested a medical checkup every single week. Lugubrious, definition, looking or sounding sad and dismal or gloomy. Example, the abandoned factory looked lugubrious under the grey winter sky. Cheerful, definition, noticeably happy and optimistic or bright. Example, a cheerful working environment can significantly boost team productivity. Morbid, definition, characterized by an abnormal and unhealthy interest in disturbing subjects. Example, the detective had a morbid fascination with unsolved historical crimes. Alive, definition, living and active or not dead. Example, the rescue team found the missing researcher alive after 2 days. Perennial, definition, lasting or existing for a long or apparently infinite time. Example, funding remains a perennial problem for small scientific institutions. Luminous, definition, full of or shedding light or bright and shining. Example, the clock dial has luminous numbers that are visible in complete darkness. Volatile, definition, liable to change rapidly and unpredictably or evaporating easily. Example, fuel vapors are highly volatile and require secure ventilation. Versatile, definition, able to adapt or be adapted to many different functions or activities. Example, the new tool is versatile enough to handle both drilling and cutting. Paradoxical, definition, seemingly absurd or self-contradictory but potentially true. Example, it is paradoxical that increasing the speed decreased the overall efficiency. Linguistic precision requires dedication. To assimilate these items fully, you are advised to listen to this workshop multiple times, along with all previous sessions. Repetition is vital for language acquisition and long-term retention. Note that the matrix phase has expanded with new content. The 8th episode, focusing on the specific theme of vision and light, will be online shortly. You are invited to share your constructive feedback, ideas, and requests in the YouTube comment section in a spirit of mutual respect. Keep boosting your English. Bye for now.